Welcome everyone to another episode of Craig and Mark's Cinema Circus. We are your hosts, Craig and...
I'm Mark.
Smooth, like it, getting better. We've just returned from the beer cellar in Bristol. It's quite late on a Thursday night, so we're going to try and keep this a lot shorter than the last one. Less small talk. People didn't like that last time. I thought it was charming, but...
Who said that?
Just friends.
Fair enough.
Friends, listeners.
I wasn't a huge fan
15
of either
of them. My mum didn't say anything bad, and she's our most avid fan. But, her feedback was, oh, this is lovely, son. So
perfect.
I
think that's the vibe we were going for.
I think it's the launching pad we need to superstardom.
The lovely podcast.
Yeah, and my aunt said, I listened to the whole film thing, your film sounded shit. I was like, well, I didn't make it.
It's a character judgment.
Yes, we are not recording from France, like we said in our last podcast. Unfortunately, the podcast equipment was too heavy and we were too lazy, and I was sick, so there was no way of lugging that through, bulky as I am.
Yeah, we had a lot of shampoo to bring.
Yeah, a lot of old people's games to bring in the suitcase. Pandemic, that was heavy enough.
Well, I weighed a ton.
And this microphone, So the Craig and Mark holiday special I have to wait for another time, unfortunately. Now, we are here today to talk about Parole Violators. As I mentioned earlier, I had a wonderful screening today at the Bristol Beer Cellar. We've actually just got back from interviewing Ty, who runs the Bristol Bad Film Club, and you should all check that out. It's actually something we're quite pleased with.
The interview?
Yes.
Yes, I was very happy with it.
Yeah, I know. It actually sounded like a proper podcast.
Will that go up before or after this?
Oh, I don't know.
After.
I haven't thought that far ahead. Let's say, yeah. Oh, you can look forward to that when we release it. Definitely not simultaneously with this.
You're always leaving wanting more, eh?
Now, feedback from last time, Mark. Apparently, a bit too much small talk, as I mentioned. And,
I thought so as well.
Apparently, I asked, how are you, twice, which was the main criticism.
Who said that?
Just people again, like friends.
People? Who are these people?
Just people, yeah. So
should we get on with it this time?
I think I've repeated myself already, so we're off to clearly learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. Right. Parole Violators.
Well, you don't want to do the banter?
Nah, people didn't like it, did they?
Oh, well, I had a great anecdote about Louis Theroux on Jimmy Savile.
That's not relevant.
No?
No.
I was going to say it was the first time where Louis Theroux's not the most interesting subject on the screen, and yeah, it would have got a laugh, maybe.
Well,
it.
Adam's here and he didn't laugh.
Yeah, well, I told him to be quiet. He's a code of silence. All right, then, we'll just jump straight to it. Yeah, but Louis Theroux, great show. Enjoyed it. Didn't watch it?
No.
This is great conversation. Right, okay.
Well, it's just you're talking about Louis Theroux.
Well, I just thought, keep the, subjects coming.
We got a subject.
For fuck's sake. Right. Parole Violators. We've just gotten back. We'll jump straight into it. Film is about a TV show host who works on a show called Parole Violators. So you've already hit your title right away. And
it was really unclear what his job was.
Well, thankfully, Ty, our MC for the evening, cleared up a lot of the context for the. So what the narrative failed to do, which was anything, he was able to do.
Yeah.
Our hero.
Miles Long, played by Sean Donahue.
Yeah.
Donahue
is a TV show host who runs a kind of like cops style show, I guess.
Well, I'm really confused because we'll just get a bit into it. At the start, he stops a guy robbing a grocery store or like a sort of 7-Eleven kind of thing.
Yeah.
Videotapes the whole thing, including hitting the robber with his own camera.
Yeah.
Which seems like that would cause
some
damage.
Durable, It's those heavy, those early 90s sort of video cameras. They're robust.
Mid 90s.
Yeah.
It's almost made in 94, but it looks like it was made in 83.
Oh god, it looks at latest late 80s.
Yeah.
Let alone post Terminator 2.
Yeah, astounding. Anyway, he stops the robber, gets hit by a car, but he just dusts himself off.
He's fine.
Happens a lot.
Yeah.
Then he leaves the guy duct taped to a lamppost with the tape duct taped onto his head.
Yeah.
But then he did a TV show as well. Did he leave the tape for the police?
I think so.
I really don't
know.
When
he taped him up, the deleted scene that they didn't include was him duplicating the tape.
Yeah. It took about 4 hours.
Yeah. So our hero, Miles Long, played by which Donahue's he?
Sean.
Right, because I noticed in the credits, there was a lot of Donahues in those credits. There was at least a Sean Donahue who might have directed.
Yeah, the way Ty explained it to us was he had Sean Donahue, who was a former stuntman, who suddenly got the notion into his head that he'd like to be a serious actor.
Right.
and he got hold of his dad, who is a film director, and so they got together to make this.
Wow.
And now we reap the rewards.
Oh, and what rewards they were. So we jump straight into things. Our hero, if you can call him that, because he's a bit of a prick. He's
the worst.
He looks like I don't know how to describe him. Like he's got what's left of a mullet. It's kind of like he's in between the mullet and growing it out phase of his long hair.
He sort of looks like Dennis from Always Sunny a bit, dressed as Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. But also a bit like, I'm trying to look up his name, the villain in Rogue One, that Australian actor.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. He's the sort of guy, we've done 2 films now, we did No Holds Barred and this. And I thought this would be similar to No Holds Barred, in which he could do no wrong. I thought he'd win every fight.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be the cool guy every time. But he's constantly losing.
And when he is trying to be cool, he fails spectacularly.
Yeah, he's like, I'll save you, kid, and he gets thrown off a cliff.
So, Parole Violators, a hit, I guess. It's never really explained. It just shows him in the studio doing a piece to camera, and you're assumed to just think that this is a big hit on TV.
Do you think he pays his staff?
Oh, who knows?
I don't know.
I saw how they were dressed. They don't know much. And, so he's obviously put away a few people. We then cut to the prison, where our villain of the piece, a young Danny Trejo, by the looks of it, or sort of, long lost cousin.
I think he's just another Mexican man. With
just
long
another
hair.
Mexican man, but he does look a bit like Danny Trejo.
Does a bit, yeah.
He's buff, we get some very fetishistic kind of like pans of his body.
Yeah, he's got a big power suit with really wide shoulders.
Huge power suit, padded. He looks massive.
He sort of looks like he's in Miami Vice. He rolls the sleeves up, which again made me think it was the 80s. What? Grace did sneeze. So he gets out of prison. Bless you.
Thanks.
He gets out of prison. He was put in there for touching kids, I think, right?
Well, I mean, cut to the chase. Immediately after being greeted by his Latino friend, who looks suspiciously like a white man in a wife beater with a fake mustache.
I think it was a real mustache. It might have been dyed or something.
It looked vaguely fake, to be honest. So.
Yeah, well, everything did.
And he's like, "Hey man, let's go for a beer," and he just basically says, "No, I want to go touch some kids."
Yeah.
And so straight to the point. He's a bad dude.
He's desperate to violate his parole.
Yeah,
It's the first thing he wants to do.
Now, our hero is in his office, which is just like a terrible sort of sterilized.
Remember, did you see when he was going into the office? There were posters of the director's past films, which were meant to
like it. He's just like Michael Bay, who does that a lot.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? The Bad Boys 2 poster.
No, and Armageddon, they do it as well in Transformers. It's like, this is just like Armageddon, as if you couldn't hate the work enough. So yeah, our hero's in his office. He gets his latest tip from the police station, and it's a very grainy picture of our villain, who we learn is called Chino, which
was his name actually, think about it, Chino Lopez?
It was something like that. It was like, Mr. Mexican.
Yeah.
Joe Mexican. Chino.
Yeah.
Not Chico, by the way. Chino.
Yeah, so he gets the call. He types his name on the computer saying, why is he got off? Why is he
No, you missed my favourite bit. We're already on to these classic bad films when what is supposed to... And there was a lot of this in this film of typical action montage and pieces happening, like the printers printing out, and it all goes so slowly. Before this, there was a montage of Chino, it was supposed to be him suiting up, and every shot was about 5 seconds too slow.
What you want is jacket, trousers, scarf.
Like Evil Dead, Sam Raimi style. This was Sam Raimi slowed down to snail's pace.
This was just watching a man get dressed.
Including this scene where you just have 5 seconds watching a really rubbish, grainy portrait of our villain come out of a printer.
Of a dot matrix printer.
And Miles proceeds to look at this and go, "Damn, he's out." And then immediately he goes, "No," he says, "I'll keep my eye on him," and then throws it in the bin.
And then scrunches it up and throws it. Waste of paper.
Waste of paper. He's not an environmentally friendly guy.
It's the 90s. They didn't know.
Global warming doesn't exist. Now, we then cut to our hero. I'm going to keep referring to him as our hero, but our protagonist,
Miles. You can call him Miles.
Miles goes to a garage where he meets the lovely Tracy, who they have a discussion. How can this guy get out? And somehow this sort of loud affair ends up with them going for dinner.
Yeah, how does that happen?
She says something like...
Well, they have a pre-existing relationship.
Yeah. I mean...
Because she had that line where he was like... she said, "You cook." He's like, "Do you know what happened last time I cooked?" He said, "Yeah, the food was cold, but everything else was hot."
Yeah, and he said something like, "Yeah, I have my special sauce."
Oh.
Spunk in her face, obviously.
Secret
sauce.
sauce.
There we go, that's Adam, by the way.
Fact check.
Yeah, the secret sauce, which thankfully we were never privy to in this film because...
We saw Making Something. The worst meal ever made.
Well, yeah, jumping ahead then, Mark, because we cut then to the house of Mr. Miles Long, and not a nice house, not what I was expecting. I thought some kind of villa, some rubbish apartment. He doesn't earn a lot because I think he's been fired from the police force.
It's really dark and brown.
Kitchen's a total state. He appears to be making her spaghetti bolognese. I can only guess it's because there are long shots of him just smelling open pasta.
Yeah, and tasting things. I like the bit when she walks in and goes, "What's this?" And he goes, "Pasta."
Oh, I liked the bit where he had just, it cuts the colander and there's just pasta sauce all over the top.
Yeah, there's like a colander just on the counter and he like pours something and stirs it like it was all coming out.
I don't know. It just looked like something had exploded. But anyway, he's got his romantic, like, he's got his suit on. He's like dressed to the nines, I guess. And she comes to the door and she's like, "Wow, what happened to you?" And he's like, "Well, baby, come on in. I'll show you. I've got dinner on the go." To her credit, she wasn't impressed, but they were quick to get down to it.
Straight away,
yeah.
No, first of all, there was that bit when she was like, he said, "I'll hang your coat up," and he just threw it on the sofa.
I missed that bit. I think I was blinking, you miss it. Yeah. And
he's such a dick.
I think like they went to kiss and it cut to her again, really slowly, trying to passionately kick her heels off. And
oh yeah.
You know, before we saw them do the deed, you know, we never knew. One of the greatest crimes of this film is not knowing if they actually ate that meal.
No, they didn't.
Did they even turn the cooker off? Because I assume they were going straight to the lovemaking.
It's just hard to
that kitchen cannot survive another explosion.
Basically, the passage of time in this film is all messed up. Yeah. But as far as I could tell, everything happened in the one day.
Mm.
But it can't.
No, I think we cut to overnight because
it can't have done.
You know, they didn't fit. Like they had to clean up the kitchen after sex. So, I mean, it's hard to really describe the narrative, guys, because for all intents and purposes, there isn't one. The next thing you know, Miles is playing horseshoes in the park. It's literally in his finest. He wears these big sort of early 90s like polo shirts, which are like always fluorescent colours.
It's a big sort of purple and blue like windbreaker type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing horseshoes and he's the best at it.
Of course.
Because he gets a ringer.
Oh, is that what that was? I don't know how horseshoes work. It just kind of cut to him again. He goes, "Yeah, good shot."
Yeah, if you get a ringer, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm really good at horseshoes."
He's got a mate who we never see again. Unless did he show up again? Because as you'll find out, I was out of the room for a while.
Professional.
Yeah, I know. You know, could have been taking notes, but had to go and draw money out.
Yeah, because Chino and Twos, his mate, they decided to come to the park to.
Right, I've got to discuss this.
Kids.
This was brilliant. So I think Miles knew their hotspot. He was on the lookout for them anyway because he was fully prepared.
Yeah.
The most unsubtle sort of "I am going to kidnap you" scene takes place where their banged up car comes pulling aside the part where kids seem to be running around aimlessly.
Like, driving at the same speed as this little girl is walking.
Now, their friend, the aforementioned... Did we have a name for Chino's mate? Twos, who had the moustache, white sort of wife beater, but definitely just a white guy.
For some reason pulled his trousers up.
Did he?
Yeah, he had he's up to the knees.
He then begins to stalk this kid in plain daylight. Broad daylight, I should say.
Where
by loudly tiptoeing behind her and doing jazz hands. Luckily, Miles is on the case. This is all played dead straight.
Where were her parents?
Miles was there. They all know Miles.
Yeah.
Miles was there to look out for her. Look out for her he did, as he then got on his motorbike. Again, the editing in this film, not too quick. He then proceeds to take off at a very slow speed on his dirt bike, which he brought with him.
But first we just a cool skid.
It wasn't cool. I was just like, get a move on.
Yeah,
they were already 10 minutes away.
Yeah. It's like, they drive off.
With the kid, I should say. They kidnap the kid.
He runs in the opposite, he sort of jogs in the opposite direction to his motorbike. Then, and drives off to behind them. Catches up immediately.
Yeah, of course. And they're like, we've got to lose him. So they then ditch the kid by throwing her out the door into a bush.
With editing, to them driving in the car, cut to a shot of a stopped car, and they throw her out.
Yeah.
And then cut to the car driving again. And
Did
Sheena's like, good work.
I paid a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Guys. It's been a long day. Lots of work to do. Busy man. Yeah, so the kid, like, falls into a bush. They drive away. Our hero, Miles, ever the gentleman, stops. Goes to look at the kid. Thankfully, there appears to be a running club full of mulleted men and...
Yeah, they appeared immediately.
Yeah, they were nearby. They saw this go down and were like, oh my god, a kid in the bush.
And Miles is like, take care of her.
Yeah, drives off. See you later then, Miles. They didn't. These people never met.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where I think I left the room for... So you'll have to carry
I don't
this.
think it was. Because you remember the bit when he's chasing them and they're like, we got to lose him. So they slam the brakes and he jumps over their car.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So he jumped over the car.
And now the hunter has become the hunted.
I guess.
Because they're chasing him. He drives off a little dirt road, loses them, pulls over, so they crash into him and push his bike over the cliff.
Oh, two starts beating him up.
Sort of throws him around like a comic book villain.
Yeah.
And then kicks him over a cliff.
You could tell he was a stuntman because it was properly like every time someone pushed someone, they would all do an exaggerated like flip.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, like head over, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think he was sort of stuntman who gets hit.
Yeah.
He wouldn't like do the kung fu himself.
No.
He was really awful at it.
Yeah. So he was the stuntman who fancied himself an actor.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was great at taking these falls.
He was.
You know, it did look like a slight gust of wind would send him into like a tailspin at any moment.
There's so many scenes throughout the film where people just get punched for ages.
Yeah, and go flying.
Yeah.
And then really awkward kind of moments which are really jarring where they'll go from like a really intense scene, I guess going for intense, to, well, you should have said something, and then they'll just move on. So now this is definitely where I left the room because I don't know for all I know, Miles, had I not come back, could have met his end on that cliff edge.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He gets up. He's completely fine. Everyone's fine. No one gets hurt in this film, really.
Okay.
Do they?
No. Well, we don't want to give away too much. There's still more gold to come.
That's true. So Chino and Toos decide to kidnap the love interest, Tracy's little girl.
Right.
And it's a really odd scene, really, because she isn't looking because she's on the phone to Miles.
Right.
Because he's called up to say, like, why aren't you hunting down Chino?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, the police are handling it. And he just goes, what? And hangs up. And then calls her back. And she just goes, like, leave me alone, Miles. While this is happening, she's being kidnapped.
They must not have had a good night after all then.
Yeah. And then, so she's been kidnapped. And then the phone rings again.
Right.
She picks up and it's Chino.
Right.
Who has somehow gotten her number.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so he does the whole, if you want to see...
So does he want to touch the kids, or is it more like he just wants to get some revenge on...
I think both.
Because we forgot to mention that Chino was put away by Miles for violating parole years earlier.
Because this is why I was confused what his job was, because he used to be a policeman.
Yeah.
They don't say why he isn't anymore.
Well, the whole Parole Violators TV show concept is pretty much dropped in, like, pre-Act 1. I think, like, literally the introduction. It doesn't even make it to Act 1.
Yeah, because there's that bit, isn't there, where Chino says, like, they took away your badge and your gun. Because that's what they say in action films.
Yeah.
What happened next? Oh, yeah. So Tracy and Miles meet up. They're going to get the little girl.
Now, I think I came in shortly after this, and there was a lot of sad music playing when I was indisposed. And I thought, for all intents and purposes, someone had died or someone was kidnapped.
I think there might have been a bar scene in here somewhere.
Right. Now, I'm told there were a lot of bar scenes in this film. I only privy to one.
There were about 4 scenes in a bar. You could tell from the music. Which was just sort of... just sort of heavy rock music.
Oh, the music in this film is fantastic.
Yeah. So Tracy and Miles, they meet up. They go and... they're going to go and raid a bar to try and find out where her my baby is.
Does say that a lot.
She says that so much. So
I didn't know the girl was called Susan. For all intents and purposes, she should have been called My Baby, My Baby.
My Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they burst into the bar. Tracy hits a goon in the face with her gun.
Right.
Like, he just sat by the door and she comes in and just goes, yeah.
Right.
And just knocks him out. So they're immediately taken out.
By Tracy?
No. The all the people in the bar beat the shit out of Miles and Tracy.
Failed again.
Like, straight away.
But excellent.
Tie them up and throw them in the back of a van. But Miles wakes up and it's straight to action. where he beats up the guys in the car. He pushes one of them through the sunroof and out the back.
Yeah.
The other one he throws out the car, and the guy runs along and runs into a stop sign while playing that TIE Fighter scream. There's a one.
Oh yeah, because I noticed in this film the sound effects were lifted straight out of like stock sound effects CD Volume 1.
Well, a couple of times there's a laser noise.
Is there?
Yeah, during the gunfights there's a sort of pyong.
No, that was because if you played GoldenEye 64, it was like all the sound effects from that game got at least one or two uses at one point or another.
It's like while the car is going on, a truck pulled in between their car and the one that had Chino and Twos in it.
Right.
So, like the guy driving the van who's having the fight, he's like pulling on the horn and stuff, and they're like, "What's going on back there?" And Chino's like, "Nothing."
I don't understand.
Yeah. So anyway,
moving on.
they get to a barn where. Wait, is that the barn?
I walked in and there was Tracy tied up in the barn.
No. Okay, no. Remember what happened? They caught up. We caught up with them. There's a bit of a car chase. Chino and Twos ram their van off the road. It goes rolling down the hill, and this is the first time Miles, for all intents and purposes, is dead.
Right.
He's just limp in the driver's seat. And so Twos runs over and goes, "He's dead. She's alive though. I'm going to take her."
Well, he doesn't like the kids. Only Chino likes the kids. Twos likes the women. Presumably, they both like, criminal activity.
But I think this is when he sort of comes to.
Right.
So they drive off. They drive off to a barn. There's a shop chickens, so we know it's a farm.
Yeah.
And they tie Tracy to a pole and they walk around in circles, menacing.
See, I walked back in on that. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why are they walking round this pole? They've got the child sort of taped up to a chair.
Yeah, she's just another room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Miles busts in. Straight to action again.
Well, yeah, I should say, first of all, this is the first of 3 times that I thought the film was ending.
How long? It's about half an hour in at this point.
It's really, I think it's about half an hour.
Yeah.
It just has that feel of a climax, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Miles... Oh, what a climax that would have
Miles comes bursting in through the window, because Twos has gone in... No, Chino's gone in to have run off with the little girl. So we have a terrible, terrible fight with Twos.
It was a lot of biff, baff, boff.
Yeah, sort of that sort of sound effect.
Yeah.
Tracy gets a bit angry and starts stabbing him in the stomach with a bit of wood.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's an amazing scene because then Chino runs off with the little girl and Twos is there. He's been done in by both Tracy and Miles and he's sort of, for some reason, powerless to move. So she threatens if they don't tell them where the little girl's gone, my baby, aka Susan. She is going to do something with an axe. She then proceeds to menace Twos with an axe, but obviously this axe is far too heavy for her. And she proceeds to kind of like, I don't know, give the old chopping wood action to the floor, but every time she's just going to throw her back out. And she hits the ground with like the force of...
A sort of dull thud.
A dull thud.
A really not scary... It's the sort of thing...
You know if you like would drop, I don't know, if your keyboard fell on the floor off a desk, that same sort of sound. I work in an office, everybody. I'm trying to relate.
I speak about the world I know.
I do. But it didn't sound like this was going to cause any like immediate damage. But Twos...
they wanted to have that sort of thing where, like, you know, when they put like James Bond on a conveyor belt with the laser at the end. It's like, it's getting closer.
Yeah.
But...
To his cock.
Yeah.
Right.
But says she was just like, where's my baby?
Yeah.
Give me back my baby. I remember she was about to kill him, and Miles went, "No, you can't do this." You know, he's killed like 3 people. Right?
So they immediately leave and go back to a bar.
Yes.
They leave Twos to it. And then, I mean, one thing leads to another. Another fight breaks out where they both proceed to get their asses kicked. The bouncer, because Miles starts torturing this guy. I guess he was there while I waited.
He beat him up in the first class.
Miles was back to cause trouble. Yeah. This African bouncer then gets involved, and I don't think it was his real voice. And he pretends to sort of, he would keep shimmying around and doing random shimmy sort of motions.
Was he dubbed?
Oh, probably.
Because he has sort of weird, like, almost English accent.
Yeah, and he kept shimmying around. He then proceeds to hand Miles' ass. Well, Tracy's Tracy's alright, she's okay.
Well, she does a few side kicks, and then the guy with the broken nose just grabs her, and the fight's over.
Yeah, and then, like, the bouncer goes, "What's your problem?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're looking for Chino." And he goes, "Oh, you should have mentioned." Let's go. They then take them out back where Chino is sat at the edge of a pool in a chair. So I really was lost at this point. I was like, so the hideout, the big fortress, is just at the back of this bar.
It's just a suburban garden.
Now, this is where things get heavy, because they've got the little girl taped up in a, what would you call them? Rubber ring?
A rubber dinghy.
In the world's dirtiest pool.
Yeah.
This wasn't like, Tony Montana's villa. This was, you've paid not a lot of money for a hotel.
My personal theory is that they found a home that no one lived in.
Yeah.
And filled up the pool with water.
And leaves. Because there were so many leaves.
I just think they didn't bother to clean the pool.
No, definitely.
Because it was filthy.
Now, the solution to this crisis is Miles says, give me back the girl. And Chino, this devious person, says, for every 30 seconds you leave my guard standing, I will puncture a hole in this rubber ring, and this girl will have no choice but to drown in the world's shallowest pool. And it is shallow.
Yeah. And then Miles goes, so let me get this straight.
Yeah, and then repeats the predicament.
But then says, what you don't realise is that'll let the air escape from the
yeah, that was random. Both Tracy and Miles then break into another fight where, again, they're immediately owned.
Yeah.
Tracy tries to save the kid, who at this point she's fallen in, she's drowning.
Because Chino just starts puncturing the raft.
Yeah.
Just sort of like pawing at it with a sharp stick.
My favourite bit was Miles being beaten up by like this formidable martial artist.
He was actually really good.
Yeah. Kept doing point of view shots of him kicking. So you'd have the camera looking at the person kicking Miles, and he'd kick at the camera and it would sway. Which, straight out of every FMV game you've played, like Mad Dog McCree. So Miles falls in the pool, and then, like a dick, after losing a fair fight, throws the sort of pole that Chino's been using to pierce the rubber ring, and just throws it at the guy.
Off screen.
You just hear this, yeah.
We don't even see his body.
Again, everybody escapes who lives. There's a couple of deaths. People are like...
Chino runs off.
The little girl's drowning.
Also, Twos arrives, bleeding.
Yeah.
And then just runs off again.
He's like, I don't want none of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pull the little girl out. She's sort of been drowned. Miles starts administering CPR while Tracy goes, damn you! Live! Damn you! My baby.
And if you think that's an enthusiastic boy, you should watch the film.
I think I'm doing it justice.
I think so.
Yeah, so...
we then cut to the hospital. Luckily, my baby, she's been saved. Kind of. She's in a coma. They're playing the loudest ventilation noises you could hear. It's like Darth Vader got a megaphone.
What does that doctor say again?
The doctor comes in and said something that was barely audible about people who go in comas don't usually survive, but we don't know much about it. Yeah, and then proceeds to leave.
Yeah, he just goes like, a lot of people who've had their brain starved of oxygen, they can be in comas for years. We just don't know enough about the brain. And he leaves.
He just leaves. It's amazing. And then Miles sort of comes in. Tracy's like, oh, my baby, I'm sorry I cursed you.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't seem that bothered about the coma. She's like, I'm sorry I swore at you. I'm sorry
I said damn you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I cussed. She keeps saying cussed.
Cussed, right, yeah.
I think we then have a passage of time. Because Tracy is praying in a church somewhere. Yeah. She's praying about, I'll bring my baby back to life. So Miles comes in. He's like, sorry I wasn't around the last few days. I don't know where else he would be.
Buying a new polo shirt.
Yeah,
he turned up in his fluorescent pink shirt. It was excellent.
Yeah, and they decided, come on, we'll go and visit Susan. While
blew dry his mullet, back into pristine. Also, I just wanted to point out, because I actually did notice this in the film, they really do Tracy no justice. She's always clad in like a bodysuit.
She's always sort of wearing like pajama, like sort of scrubs.
Yeah, just scrubs, just pajamas.
But she's not. She's a policeman.
Yeah, just wearing this kind of like not even skin tight, this loose, baggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not got sex appeal, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And neither's he, so actually they're perfectly matched.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a woman, but I don't think he's winning any.
Well, I'd say for the 80s he looked fine, but this film was made in 1994.
Yeah, he'd left the 80s behind. No, the 80s had come and gone, but he was still very much there.
No, it's going to come. Blow-dried mullets and polo shirts tucked into high-waisted jeans. That's the look that lasts forever.
There's a bunch of shit happens. I can't remember all this. There's a lot of
Chino goes to recruit a white power gang.
Yes, and they're a white power gang because they're hanging out. They've got a woman dressed in like...
she's like a Terminator.
Like a Terminator.
And they're all sort of roughhousing.
Yeah, but by roughhousing, they're all just kind of just rubbing up against each other on the side of the car.
On the boot of a car,
while kind of going like... There's one guy who was earning his money because he appeared constantly. It's like a skinny guy, shaved head, who would at any chance he get jump on the bonnet of a car and run up it.
But everyone did that.
No, that was that one guy. He did it constantly. He was always running up stuff.
Oh, actually, speaking of cars, I just remembered a scene you missed where we see Miles going and getting to people who are violating parole, where they go and steal a car,
right,
and go drive it off out of the sort of park they're in. So Miles jumps onto the roof, but then the car drives forward and stops. So Miles gets flipped onto the bonnet. Then they reverse and stop. So he gets flipped onto the boot. Then they go forward and stop. So he gets flipped onto the bonnet.
Is it as exciting as it sounds?
Yes. They do this about 5 times. Well, he's like, it'd be easier if we just pull over. And
then, it's played for comedy.
Yeah, but then he kicks his way in through the back window, starts fighting them while they drive off. Then they drive and hit another car. So their car explodes and goes flying through the air.
Excellent.
And lands upside down and sort of explodes again.
So my bit about how parole violation sort of doesn't make it past the introduction of the first act.
We do see it again.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Because so from this smoking heap of a car, we then see the 2 guys tied up to the lamppost, which is his MO. It's his thing he does.
Yeah.
I don't know how he survived that crash.
Is this before the child kidnapping, or is this where he was for a couple of days in between after the suffocation?
It's before the child kidnapping.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So Chino recruits his white power gang to take out Miles because he's all done them wrong in the past. They violated parole and he put them behind bars.
But remember, Tracy doesn't want to go. She's like, I've got my baby back.
Oh, amazing, yeah. She's like, I want to take care of my baby. And he's like, what? And leave it to the police?
Yeah.
Can't believe you. Well, and then her child...
Dies.
Luckily, the crack doctor team then come in, and with all the urgency of, I don't know, I left the pasta on too long.
Yeah, the toaster's gone off.
Yeah, my toast. They then come in and resuscitate the child. Well, and that doctor comes back. My favourite character, bar one.
They have to use defibrillators.
He comes waddling in, proceeds to do nothing, and just kind of stand around uncomfortably.
Yeah, well, they do the click.
Yeah, the world's lightest defibrillator.
Yeah, and then so her heart monitor starts beeping, and they're all like,
"Did you notice what it said? It said physio monitor. Is that an actual medical term?"
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it starts beeping.
But the doctor was amazing because he kind of just stood around, and it's almost like he wanted to look at the camera and sort of shrug, like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, but yeah, it starts beeping again, and they're all like, "Phew!" and they all just walk away.
Yeah, I remember at one point she goes, the women go, the other doctors go, "Do you need anything else?" She goes, "No, you're all right." Yeah. And that is literally what they do. They all leave.
Yeah, and I was like, she just died. They need to do some sort of follow-up.
Now, before this scene ends, very important part of the film, probably a key scene for me. A mysterious figure is shown writing on a notepad.
Oh.
And you're like, who's this mysterious figure? I thought he was going to assassinate the kid.
Yeah, me too.
But no, we'll come back to him later. Tease everybody.
He's the best character in the whole thing.
He is my favourite character in anything. So then, cuts to Tracy and Miles in their car, and he's sort of squeezes her leg in
it's
what
really
is
creepy.
Quite creepy. But I think he's meant to be reassuring. He goes, "You sure you want to do this?" She goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I've got shotguns in the back."
Yeah.
As you do.
Oh. But then he makes her load them.
Yeah. She's like, 10 for you and 10 for me. This is where I got confused. He's driving alone. It just cuts inexplicably. And he's being followed.
Yeah.
Then he pulls into a clearing. The car pulls up behind him. The mysterious character from earlier gets out. Tracy then pulls up and is like, "Freeze." We then find out that this guy's from the DA or something.
Internal Affairs.
Right, and he's reporting Tracy, and he's like, "This won't look good in your report."
He loves his reports.
But then the White Power Gang show up and proceed to bung them all into a truck, again very slowly.
Just our rubbish heroes. They're all...
They're all kidnapped, including have we got a name for my favourite character?
No.
Just the The report man.
I can try.
Right, you get that. I'll pretend that I know. So the report man is there. You know, he's kidnapped as well. All these white men, like loads of Latinos, also supposed to be Aryan. Thank you.
Do you have his name? Have you found it? Or
Inspector Davis. Inspector Davis is also kidnapped. They all bunged in the back of a truck, but out of nowhere, Miles springs up onto a tree as it's driving past.
So he just runs up a hill.
No, he runs on the tree, jumps down, car sped off. They're like, whoa!
Yeah.
All these sort of like angry pit bullish, pit bull.
Yeah, they're all a bit like, oh, gotta get him.
Yeah. And then
and suddenly the film becomes Rambo.
Well, sort of. He goes running up the hill, and then unintentionally, comically, you just see one after the other, dozens of white men chasing after him up a hill.
Yeah.
Miles goes all Rambo, gets his ass kicked again, and falls off a cliff.
He kills one guy and steals his knife.
Yeah.
But then another guy gets the jump on him and throws him off a cliff again.
Yeah. But it's all a ruse, you see. He's playing possum because all these white sort of Latinos, SS fellas.
I think these guys are all just white. I think because they've got like swastika tattoos and stuff.
No, but they've all got fake moustaches.
No, they've got real beards.
Have they?
Yeah, I think.
One of them had a real beard.
I think they might meet up with more Latinos later. I think these are all white power.
Basically, the race hate gang.
The white power gang.
The white power gang. They all chase after him. Miles handily defeats them now. After it seems to be that once
sort of off screen.
No, it's kind of like he'll lose a fight, but then he'll make a comeback and then proceed to destroy them after sort of sustaining what would be mortal injuries.
Yeah, by getting punched in the face loads of times.
Because he falls a good 25 feet and lands in a very shallow reed.
It's a fairly impressive stunt, badly edited.
Very badly edited.
When he falls off that cliff. Because I like, from my imagining, he falls about 100 feet.
The way it was edited, he may have fallen off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, because remember, he falls onto a tree first, and it's like, ooh, and he falls off again.
Yeah, and everybody went, ooh.
Yeah,
that did look painful. We then cut back to where Inspector Davis, and oh my god, this scene.
Oh, God.
So on the back of a truck, Tracy then proceeds in the unsexiest way possible.
Sort of push her vagina.
She's touching as and gyrating. And then it cuts to the guy sort of giving that face, like as if this is attractive. Inspector Davis having none of it.
What are you doing, Tracy?
What are you doing, Tracy? This won't look good on your report. And she's like goes from gyrating.
I can't.
And the guy sort of like watching her then freaks out because she calls him she compares him to a bird.
I can't remember what she called him.
A bird.
It must have been something. And he's like, don't call me a bird.
She goes, birds are tough too.
Yeah, birds are weak.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah, and she goes, there are strong birds.
Yeah. She then goes from hitting on him to going hysterical to saying, I need to take a piss.
Yeah.
He then goes, okay, well, this is my solution. You can piss, but you have to go 10 metres over there behind that bush, and if you stop shaking that bush, I'm going to unload with this shotgun.
Yeah.
She promptly outsmarts him and runs away. Miles comes to the rescue.
By taking her trousers off.
Miles comes to the rescue. No, I've got to get to this. So Tracy and Miles get on top of the situation. Inspector Davis, and I could see it coming, kicks one of them, but the hoodlum that he kicks turns around and blasts him in the lung with a shotgun. And I was like, he's dead.
Yeah, it's a full shot to the torso with a shotgun.
The sternum. His sternum exploded. There's definite contusions, internal bleeding.
Yeah, his ribs are destroyed, his heart, his organs, it's all gone.
I was like, he's definitely dead now. Yeah. However, when they go to leave, Tracy, for some reason, she took one of the guy's pants for no reason.
No. She needed that guy's trousers because she took off her own to outsmart the bird guy.
I see. So she wanted to cover up.
I don't know why she didn't go and get her own trousers back.
No, she ripped them.
I want these guys' trousers.
They then almost leave Inspector Davis behind.
But he's alive.
And they go, he's going to have to come with us. They then drive off to the base.
No, you forgot the bit where he's lying down. He's like, I need to finish this report. And then they go to leave, and Tracy's like, we need Inspector Davis. And Mike goes, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Because he's such a dick.
So instead of dropping Inspector Davis to the hospital, they then leave him outside the main fortress of our bad guys.
Yeah, just behind some rocks.
And then Miles, ever the gentleman, takes Inspector Davis' notepad and go, here, you forgot your notepad. And he goes, oh, thanks.
Yeah, I'll finish this.
So not take the mortally wounded civilian to a hospital, just leave him outside, out of the car, while you go and handle business.
God.
And then I don't want to go into too much detail, but a long shootout takes place.
Basically, what I think happened was they somehow got use of this like industrial area of like warehouses and open tarmac, and they thought, we're going to make the most of this.
Yeah.
So how long did this take?
I think it's still going.
Yeah, it's still happening now. Like, it shows them that they push their car in, the criminals go and investigate it. Twos is still bleeding.
Yeah, but if we learn anything from this film, it's that gunshot wounds and serious blood loss mean little.
No, but it's just the fact that clearly several days have passed, he's still bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
And he's still walking around like, ooh.
Ow, my ribs.
Yeah. They push their car and the guys investigate it and they're like, oh, there's nothing here, let's go over there. While I hear her sneak in and get immediately caught. You
see these sort of film cliches, action film, where like like boxes get crashed into by wayward cars. Anything that can explode will explode. Windows get shattered at the moment. So as this film hits every one of those beats. So if there's a window, you better be sure that someone's going through it.
You see a guy in a high place, he's falling down.
And they did. Yeah. There were quite some...
You see a nail sticking out a bit of wood, and Terminator Lady from earlier is going to get her head pushed.
Why are we calling her Terminator Lady?
She looked a bit like Terminator.
I think on IMDb it had her listed as Terminator Woman.
Probably does. But she gets pushed into that while Tracy goes, hope you had your tetanus shot.
Bitch.
Which is an okay line.
It was, but how strong is this nail that is suspending this 50,
I thought it was
60...
so horrible.
It was. She just kind of led there bleeding.
Oh, it's so gross.
But then Tracy and Miles are outnumbered. Miles managed to escape, but Tracy takes one in the arm. Chino, that bastard, then shoots her.
And Miles doesn't notice.
Yeah, Chino shoots her in the chest, pulls up.
Yeah, Miles has run off somewhere.
And Miles is upset. A lot of Miles' technique is running, strafing, dodging, getting kicked through a window and coming back up.
Yeah. Getting punched and kicked and bleeding, and then using a bit of ingenuity.
Yeah.
He's
a modern day MacGyver.
Yeah. I liked the bit when, before this, when Tracy meets the Birdman again and kicks him in the head, and he turns around, and then kicks him again, and then kicks him again, and then kicks him again.
Yeah.
And then Miles kicks him, so his head spins all the way around and he dies.
That was good.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it.
He was lying on the ground. Do you remember they did the sort
I think it was supposed to be he had his head rotated 180 degrees, but he was just lying on his stomach.
No, they turned his clothes around.
I thought he was just lying on his stomach face down.
They said so he had like the front of his shirt was at the back and he was just lying face down.
Excellent.
Oh, and then loads more henchmen show up.
Without giving away too much, it was an action scene. Guns went off, lives were lost, blood was shed. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we come to the end. Miles, for some reason, has run to the top of a building. Twos is back, shoots up at Miles.
It's a hell of a shot.
And Miles is then, for the first time, wounded quite severely.
Yeah, he is actually.
Tracy is lying dead on the floor. He can't believe it. And then this excellent scene happens where Miles is falling face first. And as he's falling off this roof, he manages to take his unloaded gun, load it, shoot Twos in the chest, and land on the car.
Yeah.
Falling again at great height.
Yeah. God. We should do that thing where you watch it and just count how many times he should have died. It's every scene he's in.
Every scene he's in. Because he loses everything.
He loses every fight.
Oh, my favourite bit actually was during the fight when a very GoldenEye 64 and a load of extra guards showed up. One of them just carrying a 2x4. Just running after him with this 2x4, this unwieldy bit of wood.
I like the bit where they show like an area with a generator in it that says like danger high voltage.
Yeah.
And he kicks someone to the door of it and it electrocutes him.
What?
Why would the door be electric?
You got to turn that off before you open it.
Yeah.
What's in there?
Generators. Just electricity everywhere.
It is.
It's like that one room in The Simpsons there's too much electricity in Flanders' house.
So then all looks bleak. Tracy's dead. Chino has Miles, who's now finally succumbed to some kind of physical damage. And he's like, any last words? He goes, you're under arrest for parole violation. So again, parole violation does come back into it.
Doesn't he say that after, Tracy is miraculously alive?
Yeah, and she says, in this order, mind you, you're under arrest for the attempted rape, murder, and kidnapping of my daughter. Wrong order, if you ask me. I'd have started with kidnapping, worked up to the rape.
She shoots Chino, Then Miles does his "you violated parole" or something.
Yeah.
And shoots him in the throat. So Chino's dead. Hooray.
And then I think the most impressive stunt in the whole film is Miles rolling off the hood of the car straight onto the concrete floor, which everyone went, that looked really painful.
Yeah, everyone, ooh.
Yeah. An actual fall of about 1 foot looked more painful than anything in the film.
But then they have a bit of a moment where he goes, "You look so beautiful."
She doesn't.
Not once. And she goes, "Thank you."
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like they've both been shot.
Oh, no.
And now, Twos is alive.
Wait. Yes. Twos is alive. All looks finally like they're done in. And then, would you believe it? Who's crawled their way to save the day but the Inspector Davis, who goes... It's something about report again, wasn't it? That was his only line.
Yeah.
Report. This distracts Twos.
He must have crawled about a mile.
This distracts Twos, yeah. Inspector Davis, for this shot to the lung, who'd never been shot before, looks like anybody's uncle.
Yeah. I think when you see him, he's literally crawling on his stomach.
He was dressed as Basil Fawlty as well.
Yeah, with his mustache.
Yeah.
And like, he's crawling, and he's holding his report in his hands as well. He's like doing it while he's crawling.
Yeah. It's an amazing payoff. Cheers were had. Inspector Davis with a big, baby face, good guy turn at the end.
Makes the save.
Yeah, he made the save. Miles and Tracy take advantage of the distraction and take out Twos for good this time.
Yeah.
My favourite fake moustached, wife-beating Latino man, finally dead.
I wonder if he was ever in anything else.
No. Cut to the hospital. It's a full house now.
Yeah.
So Inspector Davis, my hero, is lying in bed.
Doing his report.
He is doing this report. Who knows what he wrote, but it was obviously, up there with The Great Gatsby in terms of length.
Oh, it was a hell of a read.
Miles is in the hospital too, but who should come in but Susan, recovered from a coma.
Is her name Susan? I can't remember.
Yeah, it is. Susan.
Yeah, okay.
My baby comes in.
Yeah, that's the one.
Tracy's in there. They all hug. Miles goes, "I love you both." And the final shot is wonderful. Inspector Davis then proceeds to act about 8 different emotions at once. From sadness to joy to apparently getting off on this because he pulls a very strange face. Puts his hands behind his head.
Yeah.
Before that, actually, I've botched it. He looks at his report, chucks it in the bin, so we'll never know what he wrote. Hands behind the head, lies down, closes his eyes. End scene, end film.
He's just there like, you know what? Screw this report.
This
isn't real life. That's over there, you guys. The love you have.
All those men and women you killed.
It's fine.
All that traumatic stress I suffered from that gunshot wound. You know what?
I'll never walk again.
What a family. I can sleep easy tonight.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, if this sounds really distorted and hard to follow, it's because there's not a lot to follow. The essential plot is Death Wish with none of the substance or grittiness.
Yeah.
And the comic sort of violence of Commando.
It's the fact the whole thing is, it's this guy, he's like, I'm a stuntman, I'm going to show all the stunts I can do.
He did do a lot of stunts.
They were almost all terrible.
Yeah.
Like fight scenes in slow motion, which always look worse.
The GoldenEye sound clip collection.
The TIE Fighter scream.
Yeah, loved that. Loved the 2x4 wielding villain. He was up there with my favourite villain of all time.
Do you have a saving grace that you can think of?
Oh fuck yeah, we're doing that. Saving grace.
We have features.
Inspector Davis. By far.
Yeah, he's mine as well.
Inspector Davis
He's
was
the best.
He might be my favourite character up there with pipe smoking Ewok in Return of the Jedi in terms of best sub character.
It's the fact that he's there in the final scene. He's like part of the gang now.
Yeah, they're like, Uncle Davis,
you and your reports.
You're such a snooty guy. But yeah, he comes around. No, I don't know. It wasn't. It was bad.
It was really bad.
It's really bad, but it's one of those films that if you've had a drink, it'd be really fun to watch with friends.
Do you have a fatal flaw? Like what was the worst thing about it? Because
you do your saving grace.
My saving grace was also Inspector Davis.
Damn it! You can't have Inspector Davis. You have to pick another one.
Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Okay, Twos.
Yeah, Twos was good.
Twos was good.
Fatal flaw. That's really hard.
The thing is, it's all really bad. So I don't. Yeah. Maybe just the look of the whole thing.
It did look like it was 10 years old.
Yeah, it's just
It's a film that aged the moment it was committed.
Yeah, it's just out of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's so odd.
Oh, Fatal Flaw. Oh no, it's really hard. I don't think I can do it. I really don't.
Worst thing.
Worst thing. You're here.
I'd say time. It's got to be time, isn't it? I remember when you watched it and you were like, 94?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
This was made after Terminator 2, after The Abyss. I'm just thinking Jurassic Park had been made a year before.
Like they were making Toy Story.
Were they?
Yeah,
Jesus.
given 95.
Fatal Flaw.
That was the year that like Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and Ace Ventura came out.
It was a good year for...
Yeah, it was a good year for Jim Carrey.
It was. The decade of Carey.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't have a Fatal Flaw. I
Come
can't
on,
honestly
one thing.
place it.
Just the worst thing.
But it was all bad.
Yeah, but what was the most bad? You can say it was Mars.
But all the bad bits were the great bits. So it's really hard to decide what I hate if I hated any of it, which I don't think I did.
Yeah.
The worst bit, probably the fight scene in the pool area with the dirty pool.
Oh, just 'cause it was such a shambles.
No, I'd tell you what the worst thing was. The pasta. We never got to
Yeah.
see what he was cooking.
There we
that
go.
was disappointed me forever.
We'll never get to know what his special sauce was.
Oh, and he was smelling that pasta. It must have smelled fantastic.
I remember there was a bit where he lifted up a pot and sort of wafted it towards himself, and as far as I could tell, there was just boiling water in there.
I liked the bit where
Delicious.
he was stirring his colander that wasn't resting on anything.
Yeah.
That's why it was leaking past the
Yeah,
sauce.
everywhere.
And he then proceeded to stir, not the colander, but whatever was behind the colander, which I presume was thin air.
Did he?
Yeah, he wasn't actually touching what was in the colander. He was stirring nothing.
I didn't notice that.
You know.
God, this film was layered. We should rewatch it.
It really is. It's like National Treasure that was just on Channel 4.
I
There's
honestly-
so much to it.
Honestly, if people want to watch this, and I'm sure they do,
They don't.
They
but
do.
Yeah,
They will.
Okay.
I don't know how they would find it, to be honest.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, but you should definitely, buy it. Watch
Find
on
it
YouTube.
legally, but, needs must.
Hey, all I'll say is you should always buy the films that you want to watch.
Yeah.
But if someone has put it to free use, then maybe you could watch it.
Come on, guys. You wouldn't download a car.
No, you wouldn't.
Remember that?
Remember that. It's on every DVD I own. I liked, you remember, they do the, would you, the piracy. But my favourite was the bald guy in a furnace with his little brander. Burning DVDs.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
This angry-looking, bald, fat man with his little X.
My favourite was always Knockoff Nigel.
Who's Knockoff Nigel?
He was they had adverts on TV. Like, don't be a knockoff Nigel.
You talk like that. Where's he from?
Yeah, he was like from Cockney, London.
Was he?
From the Victorian times.
Obviously.
Don't get knockoff DVDs.
I think this was a great watch. I don't know what to say really. I'm sorry I hesitated during the Fatal Flaw. Usually, I'd have it, but it's very difficult because it's one of those films that every bad bit is just a good watch. I would give this a solid thumb up.
Yeah. my own personal thumbs up.
I mean, I'm tempted to give it the full 2 thumbs up because of Inspector Davis.
I'm gonna say,
but we never saw his report, so I'm thinking 1 thumb.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5 thumbs.
And the pasta we never. So it's just 1 thumb because we never had the pasta.
So it's 2 half thumbs up.
It would be 2 thumbs up, but it loses half a thumb for Inspector Davis's report, never being actually published, and it loses the whole half a thumb for the pasta.
Yeah. And also, it's a weird 80s film made in the 90s that is
old.
strangely boring, but also quite engaging because you just want to see what happens next, even though nothing is happening.
Not as entertaining as podcast, though, eh?
Well, don't. Yeah, we're fine. We're doing fine.
Yeah, we're doing fine. Hey, and we kept it under an hour. Listen, everybody. In all seriousness, Bristol Bad Film Club. We had a great time tonight. Definitely check it out if you're in the area. It's great. All the proceeds go to charity, and a good time was had by all.
And they're just a great community by the sound of things. Like, it's everyone uniting together against something. It's a good laugh.
See, you were sounding like you were going for sarcasm there. I was is he taking a shot?
I'm being very genuine. Go to your local bad movie night. They're great fun.
No, go to the Bristol Bad Film movie
if you live in Bristol.
No, but come to Bristol.
Everyone come to Bristol.
Because if you go to the other ones, they don't give it to charity. They give it to, like, piracy and stuff.
That must be it.
Yeah, and Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody, they love Donald Trump, especially the London one.
Great, now you've dated this.
Oh, what? No.
It's so clear that it's before the
election. Not
election.
if he wins the election. Oh. Yeah, great. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Wait. Follow us on Twitter.
Oh, right.
We are at Cinema Circus, without an H.
No one stuck around to the end. No one's going to be able to get to the top. Maybe if we put this bit at the beginning.
Go to our Twitter.
Go to our Twitter. You can find me, Craig J. Smart.
We're also called Cinema Circus on Facebook, I think, right?
Yes, Cinema Circus. Craig and Mark's Midlife Crisis presents Cinema
And we also
Circus.
have a YouTube and SoundCloud account that I can't remember the names of, but we'll link them.
Well, that's all right, because if anyone hears this, it will be on YouTube.
Exactly.
So, right, everybody, we don't know what we'll review next. Hopefully, we'll have some fans by then, so you can actually put forth some suggestions.
We are fans now.
Yeah, my mum, she'll listen.
Exactly.
And my aunt, maybe, and my uncle, because he has to. So that's free. And
that's a crowd. So.
Yeah. Adam stuck with us the whole time, just sat in silence. So that's 4. So excellent. Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Facebook. We're thinking next time maybe a running commentary, or we'd like to get your feedback. So let us know what you'd like us to review, and we'll do it. Till then, see you again soon.
Bye.